If you are a man over 60, I need you to hear this. Waking up night after night, struggling with a weak stream or feeling like your bladder never truly empties is not just getting old. These are red flags. They are signs your prostate is under pressure, and it may be your daily habits quietly damaging you from the inside out. I am Dr. James, a prostate health specialist with more than 30 years of experience helping men just like you. I have seen thousands of cases, and I know what works, what doesn't, and most importantly, what you can still change starting today. Here's the surprising truth. Age itself isn't the enemy. It's not simply genetics either. What silently enlarges and irritates your prostate are the little things you do every day, often without noticing. Habits so ordinary they seem harmless, but over the years they slowly rob you of comfort and peace. That's why in this video I will reveal the 3 everyday habits that are damaging your prostate and show you what to do instead. These are simple, practical changes that can help you sleep better, urinate with ease, and restore confidence. And I'll make you a promise. If you stay with me until the end, you'll discover the small adjustments that can lead to lasting relief and a healthier prostate for years to come. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future tips designed for men's health. And I'd love your feedback. Leave a yes in the comments if this helps you, or no if you want me to improve. Now let's begin with the first hidden habit, holding your urine too long. Habit number 1, holding your urine too long. One of the most damaging habits I see, and one that nearly every man is guilty of at some point, is holding urine for too long. You might think it's harmless to wait until you finish what you're doing, whether that's watching a game, running errands, or driving home from dinner. But in reality, every time you force your body to tough it out, you're placing enormous strain on your bladder and, more importantly, your prostate. Your prostate sits just beneath the bladder, wrapping gently around the urethra like a soft collar. When you ignore the urge to urinate, your bladder stretches beyond its comfort zone. That stretching doesn't just move upward, it pushes downward too, directly onto your prostate. Over time, this repeated downward force acts like leaning on a sponge that's already sensitive. The tissue becomes swollen, thicker, and less flexible. What was once a smooth pathway for urine becomes a tighter, narrower channel. The result is bladder outlet obstruction, a frustrating condition where the bladder is ready to empty but the prostate has become too rigid and enlarged to allow a strong, steady flow. The bladder muscle is then forced to work harder, pushing with extra effort against resistance. For many men, this is the beginning of weak streams, hesitancy, and that nagging sense of never feeling fully empty. But the damage doesn't end there. Over the years, the bladder muscle itself can weaken from this constant strain. What starts as an occasional delay eventually rewires the body's natural rhythm. The cycle becomes self-feeding. The more the bladder struggles, the more the prostate reacts with swelling, and the more symptoms intensify. And what makes this so insidious is that the habit feels like no big deal in the moment. You tell yourself, I can wait another 20 minutes, or I'll just hold it until I get home. Yet those small decisions add up day after day, year after year, until the structure and tone of both your bladder and prostate are forever changed. The good news is that your body responds remarkably well when you break this cycle. By honoring your bladder's signals and relieving pressure before it builds, you give the prostate space to calm down, circulation to improve, and inflammation to subside. It may feel like a small adjustment, but the relief can be profound. Patients often tell me that something as simple as answering nature's call promptly has transformed their nights, reduced their urgency, and restored confidence. So if you've been ignoring that first urge, believing it's no big deal, I want you to reconsider. Your prostate is asking for relief, and listening to it may be the easiest step toward lasting comfort. But holding urine isn't the only silent culprit. There's another daily issue, one most men dismiss as completely unrelated to prostate health, yet it creates just as much pressure and inflammation, and that's where we're heading next. Habit number 2, ignoring constipation. Constipation may seem like a minor inconvenience, something you put up with now and then, But for men over 60, it can quietly become one of the most destructive forces against prostate health. I've treated countless patients who never imagined there was a link between sluggish bowels and urinary problems, yet the connection is undeniable. Your colon sits directly behind your prostate, and when it's filled with compacted stool, it presses forward like a heavy weight leaning on a delicate sponge. That constant pressure doesn't let up, not for minutes or hours, but for days, weeks, and in some men, years. Over time, it irritates the tissue, reduces circulation, and creates a low-grade inflammation that seeps beyond the intestines and into the very structure of the prostate. What makes this worse is what happens inside your gut when waste sits too long. Your digestive tract depends on a balance of healthy bacteria, but constipation throws that balance out of rhythm. Instead of supporting your immune system, the imbalance produces toxins and inflammation that spread through the bloodstream. The prostate, already under physical pressure from the swollen bowels, now faces a chemical storm of irritation from within. It's like stacking two bricks on top of the same fragile sponge. The result is swelling, stiffness, and worsening urinary symptoms. And here's the cruel irony. Many of the foods common in the modern diet, processed snacks, refined carbs, too much cheese, and red meat, are the very foods that slow digestion and cause constipation in the first place. Combine that with not drinking enough water or eating enough fiber, and the body falls into a vicious cycle. What starts as occasional difficulty passing stool becomes a chronic state where the bowels strain daily, the prostate suffers constant pressure, and the urinary tract grows more and more inflamed. But the body has a remarkable ability to heal when given the right tools. I've seen men in their 70s and 80s restore balance to their system simply by adding more fiber, choosing whole grains, eating fruits like pears or prunes, and drinking water consistently. When the bowels move freely, circulation improves, inflammation decreases, and the prostate can finally relax. It's as if the crowded hallway suddenly clears and everything flows the way it was meant to. So I urge you not to dismiss constipation as a minor nuisance. Pay attention to your digestion because your prostate is paying the price when you don't. And while constipation puts steady pressure on the prostate from behind, there is another habit, one tied to modern lifestyle and retirement routines, that suffocates the prostate from within, and that's what we'll uncover next. Habit number 3, sitting too long without movement. Perhaps the most underestimated threat to prostate health is something many men do every single day without giving it a second thought: sitting for hours at a time. It feels harmless, even restful. After all, you've worked hard your whole life and you've earned the right to enjoy your favorite chair, catch up on television, or read the newspaper in peace. But what seems like comfort on the outside often turns into stagnation on the inside. The truth is, your pelvic region, where the bladder, colon, and prostate all live, was designed for subtle, steady motion. It thrives on blood flow, oxygen, and circulation. When you sit for long stretches without moving, that lifeline of circulation slows to a crawl. Oxygen and nutrients stop reaching the prostate with the same vitality, while waste products and inflammatory byproducts begin to build up. The prostate is a small, delicate gland. It is not built to handle constant stagnation, yet that's exactly what prolonged sitting creates. Day after day, the tissue becomes irritated, inflamed, and eventually swollen. Men who sit for hours without breaks often develop chronic pelvic tension and low-grade inflammation that silently pushes the prostate toward enlargement. What makes this so deceptive is how quietly it happens. You may not feel the damage today or even this month, but over years it adds up, and one day you wake up with urgency, weak flow, or nights interrupted by repeated bathroom visits. I've spoken to patients who were stunned to realize that their daily routine, something as simple as remaining in a chair too long, was fueling their urinary struggles. And yet the solution does not require drastic effort. You don't need to run marathons or hit the gym for hours. What your prostate needs are what I like to call movement snacks, small bursts of activity sprinkled throughout the day. Standing up every 30 or 40 minutes, walking across the room, swinging your legs gently, stretching your back, or even just taking a few deep breaths can wake up circulation and breathe life back into your pelvic area. Like a sponge that regains its softness when squeezed and refreshed, your prostate responds quickly when given the chance to move and breathe. So the next time you find yourself sinking into long hours of stillness, remember that motion is medicine for your prostate. Even a few mindful minutes of activity can make a remarkable difference. And now that you know the 3 hidden habits silently harming your prostate, let's bring everything together in a powerful conclusion. Because understanding is only the first step, but action is where real transformation begins. Conclusion. Gentlemen, we have walked through 3 habits that may seem small in the moment, but repeated over time, quietly erode the health of your prostate. Holding your urine too long puts relentless pressure on the bladder and prostate until both begin to weaken. Ignoring constipation creates a constant strain from behind and stirs up inflammation that spreads through the body. Sitting for long hours without movement starves the pelvic region of circulation and allows waste to collect where your prostate should be nourished. These are not just medical details, they are choices, and every choice carries weight. What I want you to take from this is not fear, but hope, because the very habits that cause harm are also the ones you can change. By listening to your bladder, by keeping your bowels moving with fiber and water, by standing and stretching throughout the day, you give your prostate the space to heal, to breathe, and to serve you well in the years ahead. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond reclaim comfort, restore confidence, and sleep peacefully again simply by making these changes. And you can too. So as we close, remember this: your health is not behind you, it is in your hands, and the best chapters of your life can still be written.